So I had somebody comment on one of my videos yesterday saying, you're a nut. You had a good life, a husband, a job, a child. You the problem that you weren't happy. I mean, it made me laugh. The lack of awareness. But I send this lady so much love. But there's millions of women who are living burnt out from their lives. You know, overworking, earning good money, but being burnt out, being exhausted, chronic pains. I've had chronic migraines, you know, and there's a problem with people feeling like, oh, I should be grateful because I've got a child, and I was, right? And I've had a wonderful husband, had lovely holidays, beautiful home. I was grateful, and for my successful job. However, there's a difference between being present and living in more peace, living in more just in general peace, than just having luxury. You know, Jim Carrey said, I wish everybody got rich to understand that this isn't the answer. And of course, we should have abundance of money, but not at the cost of your peace. And the reason why I was unhappy, because at the time I was barely seeing my child. He was at nursery for 10 hours a day. It's raining. 10 hours a day. My husband was away a lot. I was doing everything at home. And also when my husband was away, he wanted to help, but my limiting beliefs were I have to do everything. And I wouldn't let him help a lot of the time. I felt like I need to do everything, otherwise I'm not good enough. And this is why I needed to work on those limiting beliefs. To stop doing everything myself, to stop being so burnt out. And I had to get clear with what I wanted, how I wanted my life to live, because of my programming, because of my limiting beliefs, I felt like I have to work hard, I have to earn money, because I didn't grow up with money. So I'm gonna get drenched here. So I understood at the time that I pushed so hard and I wanted to get to a certain level because I wanted to make my parents proud, because I don't think they were proud. When I was a child, I was compared, I was criticized, and I'm not complaining about them. I send them love because they didn't know any different, they didn't know any better how to act. They just wanted me to do well, better than they have, so I don't suffer financially. But just the money wasn't the answer, because I did work very, very hard for many, many years, and I got successful. I got good money, I got good holidays, but that wasn't the answer. When I was doing everything, when I felt like I needed to do all the cooking, I needed to do all the cleaning on top of working 9-hour days, look after my child, it's too much. Most of the mums who are like this, they are burnt out, not because they're not grateful for their life, but we can't function like this. And a lot of the time I see women doing everything, and husband just strolls out of bed at 9 o'clock and goes to work, but the woman is working. The woman is doing as much as he is and more. But being a mum, you know, women have to stand up for themselves. World has changed, times have changed. Women don't just, a lot of the time, sit at home, look after the children. They have to work these days because of the financial pressure. I don't know where I'm looking at the camera. And so we have the mental load on top of just the physical things that we do in working full time these days. Earning the money, feeling the pressure, trying to be a good wife, trying to have sex with your husband, or have the energy. When we of course don't, when we're exhausted, you know, I had chronic pains, I had chronic migraines from stress, from the pressure. I remember when it was pandemic and Brexit, our bills went up by £500. And hold on, let me take this off. They went out by £500. Suddenly we had to find the extra money, and I also felt the pressure, and I put that pressure on myself to do this. My husband was happy in his job. I changed my job as it happened. Actually, I needed to change my job, and I found the extra money, but I put that enormous pressure on myself. So women are living different lives these days. We are the CEOs of the house. We do everything on top of all the kids' appointments, emails, mum's group chats, play dates, and working full time and trying to keep the house going, clean it at the weekend. And also I had the money, but I didn't have time or energy to look after me at the weekend. And I remember going and getting my hair done every 2 months for 3 hours felt like enormous guilt. I felt sitting there like I should be with my son because I barely see him. So yes, lady, I wasn't happy. I wanted to change my life where I can have more time with my son. I can be more present, not so burnt out, not in chronic pain, get a cleaner so I can spend more time with my son. And that's what I did. So my life changed. And I started to get real with, okay, how do I really want my life to look like? I still wanted to work. I still wanted to run a business, my own business, and earn the money. I didn't just want my husband to look after me. I'm not a stay-at-home mum. You know, I want to be successful. I want to help other women, earn my own money, don't be dependent on anybody else. But I wanted to have more balance in life, and actually be present with my son when I am with him, collect him from school early, not just put him in post-school clubs like a lot of parents have to do because they don't have a choice, or they feel like they don't have a choice. Because at the time I felt like, oh, my job's going to say no to me cutting down my hours. And yes, whilst initially they said no, then the following year, when I actually got more confident and got real and understood what I really wanted to do, how I wanted my life to be, I just said, I'm changing my hours, take it here or leave it. I wasn't scared anymore that I'm going to get rejected, I'm going to get fired, because I knew I had the faith and the clarity of how I wanted my life to look like. And it started to happen that way, you know. So there's a huge difference between just having a life that looks good on the outside but feels miserable and burnt out and exhausting on the inside. And when you go on that holiday once a year, I literally spoke to a woman yesterday who went on holiday, and she said, so what? It was a lovely holiday, but I got back and I'm still overwhelmed, I'm still exhausted, I'm still so stressed out. She was crying, she was shouting, triggered, massively triggered, because she's just not coping. That's how I was. Maybe not as bad, but internally I just felt like I couldn't cope with life and I wanted to get in a car and just drive off. So if that answers your comment, lady, I think you're a lady, but it doesn't matter. And I'm okay with being misunderstood, because people will misunderstand me, and that's okay. You don't have the awareness, you don't have the insight to my whole life. You judge based on a few minutes of a video, but that's okay. There's a lot of people that don't have the awareness. There's a lot of mums that are burnt out, thinking there's no other way to live. There is. And that's why I'm here to tell you there is. When you just get clear on, if you had a magic wand, it's not some woo shit. It's reality. You create your own reality. When you get rid of this fear, when you get rid of the conditioning and programming from the past, and maybe your parents told you need to live like this and be a good wife, and I see myself as a good wife. I feel like I'm a better wife. I've got my boundaries. I don't just people please. I don't just do everything to please my husband and not putting myself first. And I'm sorry, if putting myself first sounds selfish, then that's okay if that's what you think. I think it's the most selfless act of self-love. And as they say on planes, you have to put your own oxygen mask on before you put one on your child, because if you're not okay, you're not going to be there for your child. So to all the mums out there who are feeling burnt out and exhausted and doing everything and feeling like if they don't, they're going to get rejected, abandoned by their husbands, that's not the only way.